Welcome to Cincinnati Soccer Talk, the podcast covering all things soccer in the Queen City. So get in touch, soccer fans. Email us at feedback@cincinnati-soccertalk.com. Now, here's your host, Nick Suberly.
Hey, what's happening, Cincinnati Soccer Talkers? Welcome to episode 121 of CSC. Glad you're with us. FC Cincinnati with a thrashing over the weekend, 4-0 over Richmond. Of course, they drew midweek against Bethlehem Steel. We'll be talking about those two matches. We'll also be joined by FC Cincinnati winger. Yes, I said winger. Russell Cicerone is going to be joining us. RC7, as Michael Hood likes to call him. We're going to be joined by Russell here in about 20 minutes to talk about his season so far for FC Cincinnati, the impact he's made recently for the club, and, of course, where he got his start as a soccer player back at the good old university at Buffalo is what I've been told. So make sure you stay tuned for that. Of course, if you're watching us live on YouTube and Facebook, we're always monitoring your comments. You know we are. So get in touch. You can also email us feedback@cincinnati-soccertalk.com. And, of course, you can also tweet us at Cincy Soccer Talk. Hey, we got an episode captain this week. Let's give it up to Matt Rock. Matt, thank you so much for supporting us here at Cincinnati Soccer Talk. We really do appreciate you wearing the armband for this episode of CST. To learn more about how you can wear the armband for an episode of Cincinnati Soccer Talk, get your name shouted out during the show, get your name shouted out on social media as a supporter of CST, go head over to cincinnati-soccertalk.com/support. Let's welcome into my cast of characters this week. I will start first with the other gentleman on the show wearing orange tonight, the one and only. Yes, I went there. Brian Weigel. Brian, how's it going, buddy?
Technically, I'm always wearing orange because of my hair, so that's cool, I guess.
What's going on, bud?
Well, you could have said I was the better Weigel of the two that are here today.
I did that the last time, and I got a stern look to the guy sitting to my left at his house, so I figured I better not do that anymore.
I don't really care. We all know the truth. So let's address the Bradley Weigel in the room. We're going to rename him the Hustler because he tried to hustle my brother-in-law out of $40 during the game. He won. Good for you, Bradley. But yeah, what kind of guy does that? Come on, man.
Well, explain yourself. Like, what when you say he's a hustler, like, what do you mean, Brian?
Well, I think it's all safe to say Brad knows his fair share about FC Cincinnati, and my brother-in-law does not. And my brother bet him $20 that FC Cincinnati would win. My brother-in-law took it. Of course, halftime, Bradley decided to run up the score.
He came up to me and said, "I bet you Richmond's gonna win 2-1." I said, "Bull crap." And I was like, "How much money you want to put on?"
Bull crap, but
yeah. He's like, $20. I was like, "Sure thing." So we score right away. Boom. Yeah, I'm all excited. I asked him if he wants to press. If he wants to press, finally he says, "You know what? I bet nobody's gonna score the rest of the game." I said, "What? How much?" He's like, "Double or nothing." I was like, "Sure thing." Boom, $40.
He's a hustler. Hustler.
Oh, well, we also should welcome in the hustler to the show, Brad Weigel. Brad, how are you?
How you doing, man? I'm doing well, man. I'm excited to be here, talk some soccer, and I'm also drinking this beautiful Tecate beer, pouring one out for Landon Donovan's funeral.
Oh, jeez.
Holy cow, man.
We will be talking about that a little bit later on in the show. I don't know if you saw that in the show notes, Brad.
No, I did not.
I left a little note for you, so yes. And last but not least, we welcome in a man who needs no introduction, Bill Wolf. Bill, how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. I'm not sure how I can follow all that with Landon Donovan's funeral and hustling your in-laws. But anyway, yeah, I'm doing well. So, I mean, 4 points, 6 would have been nicer, but I'll take the 4 and, lots of soccer. So.
Yes, lots of soccer. Let's get into that, shall we? Let's start off first with, I'm going to go with let's do this. Let's each give our best and worst of the week that was, including in both matches. So I'll start with you, Bill. What is your best and worst from last week?
I got to go for 4 things, right? 2 matches, you said.
Just one of just 2. Overall.
Oh, okay. Good. That makes it easier. Good to go first that way. I think for me, the worst was Bethlehem. In my opinion, we were the home team. We were up a man, and we didn't look like it. So for me, that was kind of the worst. It was certainly, we got the result. If you look at the big picture, I'm not going to get too upset about it, but yeah, that was disappointing as a fan to not feel like we were in control of that game. And then I think for the best, that goal from Ledesma, that first goal against Richmond, that was a screamer. I loved it. So,
all right, hard to argue with those. Those are solid choices there, Bill. How about you, Bradley?
Best of the week, Harry Kane 2 goals today.
Oh, jeez.
Loser.
Oh wait, this isn't the EPL show. Hold on. Gotta definitely be Ledesma's goal, the first one. And I'm not sure there's too much of a bad this week. I guess you could say the draw, but hard to argue with how many points we've gotten in the last month.
All right, Brian, you got to top that. Can you do that?
Does it have to be all FC Cincinnati related?
No.
Kind of FC Cincinnati related?
Sure.
Best of the week is the United States is going to host the World Cup in 2026, so hopefully we'll qualify.
That's a good one. Hopefully we'll qualify.
And maybe we'll host a game in Cincinnati. I know we might talk about that a little bit later. So pretty jazzed about that. Of course, Ledesma's son. That was pretty cool. And worst of the week was the punk. I don't even know if you can call this person a man, but Sprinkles. Sprinkles, you apologize to that 3 or 4 or 5-year-old who you crushed that kid's dreams. If I was that dad, I probably would have punched you. Honestly, donut abuse, whatever. But seriously, I felt horrible for that kid. Shout out to that dad who was awesome and got the kid back out there to take the kick. Props to the Bailey. I just thought that was a cool dad moment, but on Father's Day. But yeah, Sprinkles, you're the worst.
So let's backtrack this a little bit just to give everybody an idea for folks who weren't there at halftime. Maybe you've never seen this before, but the kids shoot on Sprinkles, who's the goalie, and it's a little penalty shootout, and Sprinkles saved this little kid's kick, and then he was just bawling his eyes out, upset about it. And he got a second crack at it.
Yeah, well, so Sprinkles got owned by like 5 14-year-olds, and then he felt like he had to make himself feel good and crush the spirit of a 5-year-old. So that's cool. But yeah, props to the dad. Got the kid to come back out like 5 minutes later. But yeah, Dunkin' Donuts, you're dead to me.
I would say Sprinkles doesn't have a soul, but he really just doesn't have any jelly on the inside.
Wow. All right. My best and worst of the week. My best. Actually, I'll start with my worst. My worst was watching Fabian, is it Herbers?
Yep.
Score literally before the replay was done being shown. In that match Wednesday night, they had just scored, and then they go down and like that, give up a goal. You just can't concede being up a man. That was my worst of the week. My best of the week. I'm going to say it because he's going to be our guest tonight. How about Russell Cicerone getting his first goal for FC Cincinnati in spectacular fashion, by the way. Great cross in by Blake Smith. He heads it home to give FC Cincinnati a very short-lived lead. But, hey, he was there. He put it in the back of the net. And so that was my best. We want to hear from you, though, folks. Let us know what your best and worst of the week was. You can email us feedback at cincinnati-soccertalk.com. Of course, we'll, send them our way. We want to hear from you. Let's talk a little bit about that match, though, because, look, you're up a man for a third of the game, maybe a little bit more. And the disappointing thing, and Bill kind of touched on it too, is that even with the man advantage, it didn't feel like the midfield did enough or was doing enough. And I think that was why everybody was so up in arms after that match. Now, look, I get it. They played a lot of matches in a short amount of time. But the way I look at it is good teams in this league, good teams in Major League Soccer, good teams in the Premier League, when they have a man advantage, they make you pay. and that was what was so disappointing Wednesday night. Bill, I know you got to agree with me.
Oh, absolutely. And, for me, it wasn't even just the making them pay. It was the fact that we just didn't really ever look like we were in charge of the game. I mean, typically, you'll see a team go up a man and then, especially at home. I mean, it's one thing to be up a man away, another thing to be up a man at home. You're at home, you're up a man. You kind of expect that team to kind of start firing on all cylinders and just press the other team back. But instead, it really didn't look. I mean, if you didn't count heads on the field, you wouldn't have thought that we were up a man. I mean, we just looked like we were, trying to get 50% possession and et cetera. And to me, that was an issue. I would have liked to see in our midfield have a little bit more control of the situation. And especially with a man up, I would have thought that would have given us that edge that we were maybe lacking earlier in the game.
So let's think about this real quick, guys. I'm not, this is a little conspiracy theory here, but if you think this through a little bit, we haven't really seen a lot of the Bone Walker pairing this year in the defensive midfield roles, correct? I mean, once or twice, maybe this year. So let's kind of go back to that previous game on Saturday in North Carolina where Coach Koch mistakenly puts Lahoud in on the roster card versus Bone. And then, Lahoud plays, so then he can't play Wednesday, and now we're all kind of out of sync. So little things like that might have hurt. I just felt like our players weren't put in necessarily the best position to succeed. Yes, those guys have played there over the course of the past 2 seasons. Had they been the most effective there? Not really. But, it's just a lot of things that I just could have been, a couple events that led to us just being a little bit out of sync. And, I'm probably going to get some hate mail for this take, but I just didn't feel like those two guys just were clicking when they just really haven't been paired this year.
I think.
Go ahead. I agree. Bill. No, I was just going to say I agree. I think Walker and Bone they looked a little uncomfortable, and as Brian points out, we haven't seen them playing in those roles like they were last year. That was what we expected of them last year, but that's not what we've seen from them this year. So,
and a lot of folks have their takes, especially on social media, up in arms after that match. A lot of people questioning the substitution of Welshman coming off on for Danny Koenig when you're up a man. And I know, Brad, you got a take. We have disagreed on this point for a few days now. But I don't know, for me personally, when you have a golden opportunity to get all 3 points, I don't know, I throw as many attackers on as you possibly can. But for whatever reason, he decided to go with the one up top.
I can see your point over a 1-game span, but I think over 34 games,
sure,
you need to continue to rotate the squad, especially they've had a lot of congestion in the last month. Literally in like a 31 or 32-day period, they had 9 matches. So these guys are tired. So if you keep them both out there, you jeopardize them for the Saturday match. And it's been a theme all year. They've put one in, they've put one out. I think you're up a man and you put a fresh striker in, you expect things to happen. If you want 2 strikers in the game, why don't you have or you want that attacking option off the bench? Why don't you put a Tomi Amiobi in? And kind of speaks to me why he wasn't even on the bench, why he hasn't been on the bench, and what value does he bring? Another thing is, why did Koch only use 2 subs? You had Haber sitting on the bench. He could come in and hopefully provide a spark. You had Cicerone start 3 matches in a row, and no offense, but he's human. Even though he's young and he might be able to recover, he's human. So there's things that I think Koch could have done to maybe taking control of the game. We could have seen maybe another midfielder come in, like you guys were saying, maybe kind of shore up that midfield. And, if you shore up the midfield, that might open up the offense even more. So there are things that he could have done, I think, to utilize the roster a little bit better. But it's still tough to complain about a draw against a good team at home. I know it stinks, but the performance over the last month's been incredible. I think we've had, in 9 matches, you've had 6 wins, you've had the draw, you've had a loss to Louisville, and then you had the shootout loss to Minnesota. So it's kind of tough to fault Koch.
So, so everybody keeps thinking like Nashville's the hottest team out there, but in the 8 league matches, we had the exact same amount of points as Nashville. So we've been logging the points. We've been, increasing our lead over Louisville when they drop points. I mean, it's tough to get upset about a draw. But that draw kind of just to me how we lost it and just couldn't get back into the game down 10. It felt more like a loss, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, honestly, I'm with. Look, if that game finishes 11-11 and it's a draw, I don't bat an eye at what happened. But I think the red card and being up in man for as much as they were, I think that's why people are so up in arms over that result. Because look, it was still a point. They didn't drop 3 points. They still gained a point. Fortunately for FC Cincinnati this past weekend, that team down south decided to drop some points against Penn FC from a winning situation as well. So in the end, it's kind of a wash. But at the same time, as the season progresses, Louisville's got 2 or 3 games in hand right now. Those 2 points are the difference possibly between home field advantage a little bit later on in the USL playoffs versus being the 2 seed.
Well, we're the only 2 teams, Louisville and us, that have a 2 points average per match in the Eastern Conference at least. So, if you take that metric, we're tied with Louisville for first place. So the games in hand, I mean, it's tough because I kind of say, I was talking to the Nashville guys, is we have 4 of our hardest road matches still going. We got to go to Pittsburgh, go to Nashville twice, go to Louisville, go to Tampa. I mean, it's going to be tricky, but I mean, we have to just keep knocking our games out and not worrying about them. We have to win all these home games as we possibly can for at least a cushion.
The good news is we mentioned that they have all those tough road games. Look, this team on the road has been fantastic. I mean, they've been the best road team by far in the Eastern Conference. So, you'd like to think that they can head down to Nashville, they can head down to Tampa. Maybe Louisville's a little bit of a different beast because of that smallish field that they play on with the fake turf on some of the spots. So we'll see. But let's transition a little bit now towards Richmond. Gosh, I mean, I've watched a lot of FC Cincinnati games. In fact, almost every FC Cincinnati game and the existence. I don't know if I've ever seen a team show up to Nippert Stadium and just I don't want to say not be competitive because they still had some pretty good players, but like I can't recall a time where Evan Newton was ever challenged.
Dude, Moeller Soccer could have beaten Richmond Kickers this weekend. I'm serious though. Like they played their left back as a D mid. I kind of agree with you. I tweeted out it's like I've just never seen just a team that looked like they just didn't belong. Now watch us bite my words when we get down and play them at City Stadium. But I mean, just top to bottom, they didn't have one guy I think with the class of our worst player.
Well, two, I think another thing is we're very blessed to have a deep roster with the budget we have, and they don't have that. And I think they played an Open Cup match against DC United when we played Minnesota. They had a midweek game the following week, so they've had a lot of schedule congestion as well, and I think a lot of that added up to just being just a cluster for them. Like you said, it's one of the first times I feel FC Cincinnati played a team that just did not, like you said, belong.
Well, okay, so we say that too because I mean I felt like we had a good amount of possession. We pretty much did what we wanted to do, with the exception of we never really had a bunch of quality chances within the penalty area. We took some great strikes outside of the box. Of course, you had the through ball from Hoyt to Koenig that ended up being a shot in the box. But we're gonna have to still find ways to work around. Yeah, we might not have been pushing as hard just because we had the 2, 3, 4 goal leads, but that's just something I'd maybe like to see us a little bit better going in the future. Shout out to Nathan Hill. Banana was a good dude. If you didn't know, Banana Kit. Did you see that, Subs? Banana Kit goalkeeper?
Oh, Banana Kit. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we yell at the keepers when they're wearing all yellow. Sorry.
Well,
love it.
I know we had a great performance, and there were still some things to iron out, but this has got to be one of the first times we've had that front six all together. With Lahoud coming in late, playing a lot of the season early in the Open Cup, getting acclimated to the team. I think one of the questions we might talk about this now. Is this our best 11? And there's a lot that they can do to progress. And one of the things I like to see from them is the midfield of Richie Ryan, Corbin, Nazmi, and Ledesma. They're all switching. They were all switching up front, finding different passing lanes and trying to be creative. So
Yeah.
Did we lose Brad?
I think there's
he's back.
squad rotation. So we lost you a little bit there, Bradley. The one thing I like what you said off air is how much better we feel that Nas plays when he's sitting in front of Lahoud. How Lahoud can get the ball to him, where he's not necessarily always like back to goal. Is he not there?
Yeah, and
go ahead, Bill.
I agree as well, and I think this combination pretty nice. I like the fact that they float a lot. That you don't see Ledesma on the left or Ledesma on the right. You see Ledesma everywhere. You see Nas floating around. You see Lahoud floating around. I like the fact that all three of them flexibility to where they're positioned. They kind of follow the ball, and then everybody moves off the ball into space. And I think that's why we find things, opportunities with those guys up front. So Danny Koenig, I mean, he is the ultimate poacher. So yeah, he seems like he's earned that spot with his 7 goals. So.
Yep, Koenig had a fantastic night. So did, obviously, Manu Ledesma with his 2 goals, 2 strikes from outside the penalty area. First one looked to be a cross. Nope, meant it. He meant it 100%. I think he faked the keeper out, thinking he was going to cross it, and fooled him. So that was a fantastic strike by Ledesma. Both of his goals were fantastic. So in the end, what it means, FC Cincinnati continues to be in first place in the Eastern Conference with their 4-0 thrashing of Richmond. Already on a very, very torrid scoring pace this year. So on pace, I believe, for about 68 goals right now. So that is a good sign if you're an FC Cincinnati fan. Speaking of good signs, we're really excited to have on the King's Hammer hotline a guy we like to call around here RC7. He is Russell Cicerone, and he joins us now on the King's Hammer hotline. Russell, welcome to Cincinnati Soccer Talk. How are you?
Very good. Glad to be here, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, we're glad to have you on. Man, how about that week you had? I mean, you were lights out against Minnesota, played fantastic against North Carolina FC. You scored your goal against Bethlehem. How pumped were you to get 3 matches in a row?
Yeah, it was really great feeling playing again and contributing to the squad. You wait your turn, and then when it comes, you have to take the opportunities that are given to you.
Let's talk a little bit about where you came from, Russell, because last year, obviously, you had a chance there with the Timbers 2 organization. Had a great college career there at the University of Buffalo, MAC Player of the Year. But give folks here in the Queen City a little info on where you came from and how you got the passion for soccer in you.
Yeah, so I'm from Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. It's a little bit outside of Detroit. And I grew up playing for Vardar Academy, which is one of the really big academies in Michigan. And that's where Stu Riddle, who's now the NKU coach, he saw me playing there in Michigan, and he recruited me at Buffalo, and I followed him there. And then I had great 4 years playing under him there, and I got drafted by the Portland Timbers. Played 1 year professionally with Timbers too, and then this is my second year pro here in with FCC.
Russ, as you mentioned there, that you had your relationship with Coach Stu Riddle, and of course he's down here at NKU now. Did he put in a good word to Coach Alan Koch? Can you give us a little background on how you ended up, wearing the orange and blue?
Yeah, I'm sure he put a lot of work in trying to get my name on in Alan's mind because he obviously would love to see me play here, and he knew it was an unreal situation to be in here. So he definitely put in a lot of work to get me here, and I'm really glad he did because I'm really happy in the situation I'm in.
So Russell, it's been a crazy week and a half for you. I mean, you started against a MLS team, Minnesota United. You were away at North Carolina, home versus Bethlehem Steel. The last week, talk about how that felt when you finally netted that first goal.
Yeah, I mean, there's not many better feelings than scoring a goal, and then to score a goal in front of the kind of crowds that we get just amplifies it even more. And it was a dream come true to see that one go in the back of the net.
Well, you nearly had a chance to score down in North Carolina. Let's talk about that. Your darting run there against North Carolina FC. led to basically turned out to be an assist to Danny there. But I think a lot of FC Cincinnati fans are really excited about what you bring to this team, Russell, the ability to go 1v1 and really attack the opposing defense.
Yeah, I mean that's what Alan expects from me, is to run at guys, make defenders uneasy, and in the end to produce goals and assists. So, I mean, he's telling me if I get an opportunity to run at defenders, that's what I need to do, and that's how I'm going to be getting my minutes this year. So
now, Russell, Brian here again. Yeah, I'm kind of jumping around our questions here, so I apologize to the rest of the guys, but I felt this question might fit better. Now, you were talking about running by guys. Do you ever piss off Justin, Matt, or Blake at practice when you just blow right by them?
No, I mean, those guys are all really extremely good defenders, so it's hard to just blow right past them. But I play on the right a lot, so when I'm playing with Justin or with Baynard, they always get mad at me because I'm sprinting too fast up the field. They don't have time to make the overlapping run, and then they have to track back once they do make it, and so they're just like, can you just take it easy sometimes?
Well, to be honest, Russell, when you were signed with the club, personally, there wasn't much expectation. I'm long shot at Buffalo, because who does that? But we've had some big names here, and I wouldn't necessarily say you were one of them, but you've really left quite an impression on the fans, especially lately with your effort. What areas have you really tried to work on to see your game improve that has helped you break through to this squad?
Yeah, well, you can't just be like all attacking minded. I have to put in the defensive work because the coach isn't going to put you on the field if you don't play both sides of the ball. So definitely working on my defending, tracking back, and then still having the energy and the speed to go produce things going forward. Now,
you've been a part of some pretty good clubs. You were in Portland, now you're here in Cincinnati. Have you worked with anybody, or have you enjoyed working with anybody in particular that's helped grow your game?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's really nice being one of the younger guys on the team. That where a lot of guys have been around the professional game for so long. You learn so much. But just, I mean, there's not really anybody better than Manu, who plays the right wing a lot, and just he gives me so many pointers during practice on what kind of runs I should be making, what I should be doing off the ball, and just to have a guy like that to learn from is really something special.
We're hanging out with Russell Cicerone. He's FC Cincinnati forward/winger here on Cincinnati Soccer Talk. And Russell, we had a chance, Bill and I had a chance to meet you face-to-face down in Florida, down at IMG Academy, and found out a little bit about yourself. I did not know this going into this season, but obviously you're going to remember your first goal for FC Cincinnati, but you scored a pretty memorable goal yourself there at the University of Buffalo. Why don't you tell folks all about that goal and how you scored it?
Yeah, well, it was a stormy night back at Buffalo, and we were going into the second overtime against I think it was Bryant University, and we felt like we had been dominating the whole game. We felt like we deserved more than just a tie. And in college soccer, it's golden goal. So once you score, the game's over. And the referees were thinking about calling off the game because of the storm. So Stu told me to have a shot right off the kickoff during the second overtime, and I put it off the crossbar down and in from about 60 yards.
Okay, so I gotta ask you, did you ever practice that shot, or was that just something we're gonna give it a go and see what happens?
Yeah, I mean, never really practiced it in like a situation like that, but we're always messing around doing crossbar challenges from long distances and stuff. But I don't know if we ever did it from that long of a distance, but it was something special when it went in.
I've seen the YouTube video. I'll make sure I include a link to the video on the show notes for this week. It's fantastic. I really do recommend you go check that out. I mean, you've been. I mean, that's a memorable goal. Now you've got your first one for FC Cincinnati. Now, what's the goals for the rest of the year for you? Obviously, we didn't see you much of the beginning part of the season, but I would say the last 2 weeks you've really made an impact. And has Coach said anything more about expanding your role?
Yeah, he's just said how proud that he is of me coming in and taking the opportunities that he's given me, and that I'll keep getting the opportunities, and I need to keep taking them. He just wants me to continue whenever I get on to do my job defensively, and then obviously you'd be that threat of running past guys going forward. So it's all just about taking the opportunities, taking the minutes that he's given me.
Well, okay, so you just mentioned running by guys. We all know, I think most of the people point to your moment or several moments versus Minnesota when you just kind of kept that ball going, kept running up that right flank, kept going at the defenders, and I think ripped a shot or created a couple chances. What's it like doing that run, hearing 15, 20, 30,000 people, getting on their feet, yelling for you? Is that a surreal feeling? Do you even think about that?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You run by one guy and the crowd starts growing a little bit, but then you run by the next guy and then it's growing even louder, and you almost feel like you're picking up speed because of the crowd behind you, and it's a really unbelievable feeling.
All right, so we had a challenge laid out last week by Michael LaHood. He said he had the best hair on the team, and I know you and Spencer Ritchie might have a little something to say about that. What do you guys talk about in practice? Does that ever come up? You guys ever get a little chippy?
Never a little bit chippy. It's all good fun, but everybody claims to have the best hair, but I don't know. There's a lot of guys that are good. I know Forrest Leff is a huge advocate of my hair, which is a good voice to have on the team. So,
dude, man, I got red hair. I got nothing going for me. What's your secret?
I get my hair cut at the local place, 1880 right over there, and they do a really good job. So yeah. I don't know if it's anything special about me. It's just them giving a good haircut.
Well, Russell, we've invited you here not only to just chat with us about how your season's going, but to put you on the hot seat. It's time now for rapid fire. We're gonna shoot some questions at you. You just got to answer as quickly as you possibly can. You ready to go, Russ?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, here we go. Messi or Ronaldo?
Messi.
Wow. Okay. A lot of people this week have been saying Ronaldo. A lot of, what do you make of the whole debate now with the World Cup and how Messi's first game went?
Yeah, I felt terrible for him for missing that penalty and how well Ronaldo played the day before. But I'm always Messi.
All right. I can't fault you there. He's still a pretty good player. Is there a young guy / old guy split on the team?
No, not really.
All right. Who's winning the World Cup here in 2018?
Brazil.
Yes.
Solid choice. First of all, are you a FIFA player?
No, not really.
All right. Well, then that's going to eliminate my next three questions. Are you a Fortnite player?
Yeah, I'm a big Fortnite player.
All right. Well, how many wins have you gotten?
With the squad, my squad is me, Will Seymour, Emery, and Mark Village, and sometimes Blake Smith, because we all have PS4, where the other guys on the team, Forrest, Jimmy, Spencer, and Boehner, they play on the Xbox, so we can't play together with them. But when we play together, we normally get probably like 2 or 3 wins every time we sit down and we game together.
Not to start a controversy, but who's the best player?
Of the PS4 players, Will Seymour is the best player.
All right. All right. So, what's your favorite Fortnite dance?
I like the one that they took from Napoleon Dynamite.
All right. All right. What's the last movie you've seen?
What did we watch? We watched the Hateful Eight. It's on Netflix.
All right.
Tarantino.
So you got a little bit of some time off here. What do you plan to do with your break here?
I'm going to go home. It's only a quick 4-hour drive to Detroit, so very easy. See my parents.
You'll be driving through my stomping grounds of Perrysburg, Ohio, Russell.
Oh, yeah?
You can't miss it, that small little speck on the map heading north. All right, so what's the last restaurant you've been to in Cincinnati?
I just had a burger at Kruger's the other day.
All right.
Nice.
You mentioned Detroit. Do you have any Detroit stops that you miss on the food circuit?
No, my dad's a really good cook, and I love his cooking, so it'll be nice to go home and get some of that.
Very cool. All right, what boots do you wear?
Superflies.
All right, and what? I mean, obviously, it's tough to pass up your goal last week, but what's your favorite moment as a pro?
Oof. Yeah, it's definitely got to be the goal that I scored last week in front of an amazing crowd like that. It was amazing.
Solid choice, Russell. Solid choice. What's your favorite cheat food?
I like Chick-fil-A.
Yes.
Chick-fil-A is pretty solid. Can't argue that.
Yeah.
Who's the hardest defender to go up against in practice?
Deco. He'll die before he lets anybody by him or he lets somebody score on him. So
that's I feel like that's the answer we get all the time.
Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, I'm putting you on the spot here because we asked you this question. Well, I should say Bill asked you this question down in Florida. But have you had a chance to try Skyline chili?
Yes, we did. Me and my girlfriend did. We liked it a lot. We got the coney dogs almost with everything on them with the hot dog. Yeah, it was very good.
Russell, you survived the hot seat. Not only that, you earned your spot back on the show because you liked Skyline. You're a good man, sir. We appreciate you being on the show, and congrats on all the success here the past couple of weeks. Really excited to see what you bring to this team, and looking forward to seeing more of an impact for you this season here on the field.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. It was a pleasure.
And that's Russell Cicerone joining us here on the Kings Hammer Hotline. Good to hear from him. I'll tell you what, the last few weeks with him in the lineup has provided a real spark for this team, and at a good time too. So,
this sounds weird, but I'm really proud of this guy. I don't know how he took it, but there really wasn't much of an expectation for him. When he was brought in, I think you had Daniel Haber in front of him, you had Jimmy in front of him, you had a lot of guys. And he's done, you only get so many opportunities, especially when you're a squad player, to do something special and cement your roster spot. And he's got a chance here. He's got a chance the second half of the season to do something special and maybe get one of those young player spots where he doesn't count as much, towards your cap or whatnot when MLS comes. So he's got a big second half, a big summer ahead of him, and I hope he takes every advantage of it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I've really liked what he's brought there to the right side of the field. It's allowed Manuel Ledesma a little more freedom because we saw Ledesma for a long time at the start of the year out wide to the right, and he's given him a different look, something they really haven't had on the right side of the field, I think, ever in FC Cincinnati history. Somebody willing to go at a defender from that right side. So it was fun chatting with Russell, and as Brad said, I'm pretty proud of him as well. So we thank him for being here with us on the Kings Hammer Hotline. Of course, that's this time of the show each and every week where we give a shout-out and thanks to our massive supporters. A shout-out and thanks to Tim Bronsel from Kings Hammer, Matt Adamczyk, Mama Subes, Brian Malone, Jamie Smed, Mike Hudson, Jonas Tom, Jack Emery, Mike Bowman, Jesse Gill, Kathleen Francis, Jesse King, Teresa Everidge. We thank you for your support. If you want to help the show out, this is a listener-supporter show. Please check it out, CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/support. So this is a dicey part of the show for me because I don't know if we have Bill Wolf back. Bill, are you with us?
I think I'm with us.
There's two Bill Wolfs in the chat queue.
Bill's back. We're glad to have you back, Bill.
Glad to be back.
So yeah, let's move on. We've got him back. Let's talk a little bit about, Brian teased it earlier as his best of the week, but the United States is going to be hosting a World Cup here in 2026. That was the big news last week. For those of you who don't know, Cincinnati is one of the finalists to potentially host a World Cup game here in 2026. A lot to be decided in regards to that. Obviously, that match would be hosted at Paul Brown Stadium, and a lot will have to be done in order for that to happen. But still, all in all, that's a big deal to have the World Cup back here in the United States.
Oh, hell yeah. Maybe we can play in one. That'd be awesome. No, I'm joking, but I just think it helps kind of alleviate not being in this tournament, just getting that positive news on Wednesday, but the day before the World Cup. So I think there's going to be a lot of discussion on which cities are the right fit for the World Cup. You know, a lot of people speculated about what 10. They're saying maybe 11 American cities would host matches, and Cincinnati always seems to be like this is a miracle. But I'm really excited to see how it plays out. What Jeff Birding can pull out of his magic hat, and maybe we see some big meaningful games here in Cincinnati in the next 8 years.
And even if there's not, even if unfortunately we lose as a host city for matches, we still have a lot to gain from this. There's going to be 48 teams in this World Cup compared to
42.
the 48. There's 32 right now.
What are you talking about? 48, bro.
It's going to be 100%
48.
48. Yeah. Sit down over there, young man.
Funny guy.
No, there's gonna be 48 teams, so you're gonna need 48 places for a lot of these teams to go, to train, to practice, come over. A lot of these teams, especially in America, they're gonna come over 2-3 weeks before. They're gonna need practice facilities. They're gonna need tune-up games. They're gonna need all these matches. And even if we don't get a quote unquote World Cup game, I bet money we're going to be a hub for one or two of these teams, because we're going to build a state-of-the-art practice facility. Jeff Birding said, I think they're looking to spend $30 or $40 million, which is going to be a phenomenal investment. A lot of land, a lot of state-of-the-art training programs that we could attract one or two of these teams. Cincinnati is a little bit out of the way, but it's a 2-hour flight to most of the country, so we're very attractive. And I think there's going to be a big light, shown on our city, and I can't wait for it to get here.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Soccer in the U.S. as well.
Go ahead, Bill.
I was going to say, it can only help soccer in the U.S. as well. I mean, the last time we hosted the World Cup was '94, and I mean, we had a huge boost in interest in soccer. We're already growing immensely since then. This is just going to push us over the edge. The MLS was born out of the '94 World Cup. I can't wait to see, soccer 2.0 coming out of the 2026 World Cup.
Yeah, I think it's exciting times. And look, we talk about, a lot of people in soccer circles thought there was no way FC Cincinnati was going to get a Major League Soccer team, right? A lot of people right now saying there's no way FC Cincinnati, or I should say Cincinnati, is going to be able to host the World Cup, myself included. I have my doubts. I hope I'm wrong, but if there's anybody that can pull this bad boy off, is it not Jeff Birding?
That's a good point.
Well, so I think Indianapolis, Las Vegas, a couple others said having a Major League Soccer franchise was a big part in being at least a finalist. I think of all the cities left in up for a bid for the United States, San Francisco doesn't have one, but San Jose is just right down the road, and then Baltimore doesn't have one, and DC is right down the road. So it's more than just going to be is your city sexy. It's going to be, do you have the stadium? Do you have the hotels? Do you we've seen all the grades. Cincinnati, I think, ranks, if you average all the grades, Cincinnati is like the fifth best city according to FIFA, but there's so many different things. I mean, you even factor in the sponsors, where the sponsors headquartered at. So, I mean, maybe if Procter & Gamble steps up and throws $30 or $40 million bucks or whatever more out to FIFA, the Cincinnati would have a greater chance. But I kind of agree with what Brad said. I think it's going to be an exciting event regardless. The only thing that I guess Cincinnati fans could be thankful for is Chicago and Detroit and Minnesota aren't in the final process. So there's no real North Midwest team to fill that gap. So, we'll see how many East Coast, West Coast, South teams get it. But I still I just kind of what you guys said, I wouldn't write it off just yet, even though our chances are still, I'm saying maybe worse than 50%.
Yeah. It's a tough call. But I think the fact that Chicago's not involved, like you said, I think that boosts Cincinnati's chances. I think at minimum they're going to be a host city for teams to prepare. So either way, it's exciting times for Cincinnati and the soccer landscape. So congrats to everybody involved with the United bid. Congrats to obviously the Mexican Federation, the Canadian Federation. It's going to be the first time that the World Cup is going to be hosted by 3 different countries. So a lot of firsts. So exciting.
And let's be frank here. So I don't really cry. When I do cry, it's just like a little tear that's more like a onion getting whatever.
You don't have a soul. You're a ginger.
Shut up. So I got really emotional when the United States bid was or the United bid. I apologize. The United bid was given it. More so because I hope that I can take my son Brian or maybe even Lily, my daughter, to a game. I know it's going to be expensive, but just to pass down something I love on a huge stage, I don't even care if it's Peru versus, I don't know, Panama. I still would just love to go and support and just show, that this game is progressing in our country. And it's a major league now. 1994, it was a sideshow, and now I feel like it's really finally here.
It is exciting times for soccer, even though the United States are not in the World Cup right now. It is exciting times, and good news is in 2026, the United States will be in that World Cup, so we won't have to worry about that.
Hopefully.
Well, we were supposed to have a second guest tonight, Bri. What happened?
So, I apologize. If you paid attention over the past couple weeks, Nick's going to be out of town next week and on vacation, so we're trying to squeeze in a second guest this week, but he had to cancel because his dryer broke. And this gentleman said he had to go down to Louisville. And I didn't understand why. He said, there's a Radio Shack down there. I said, your dryer's broke. Why are you going to Radio Shack? He said, well, my buddy Jimmy down there said he might be able to help me out. He's working some extra hours. So that guy's soccer club down in Louisville, you might be able to afford, a backup striker because all those guys are hurt. So Bill Grandesta will not be joining us. He's out of prison. But stay tuned. We're hopefully going to have our buddy Bill back on the show in no time.
He's on the old roll.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we actually had a collection, a GoFundMe through CST to get Bill out of jail.
Yeah, Louisville.
Poor Bill. He's never going to be able to afford a ticket to the World Cup.
No. Let's talk a little bit. If we want to talk about foreign teams coming to the United States, that's the perfect segue to talk about the international friendly. You see what I did there, guys? So it was announced on Friday that Espanyol of La Liga will be coming to Nippert Stadium July 28th. I believe tickets will go on sale on June 25th next week. So for those of you interested, go get your tickets. What do we make of this matchup?
Brad, get your dumb joke out of the way so we Espanyol.
Well, that was really cold-hearted. My feelings.
He was so excited to whip this out.
Aren't hurt at all, dude. But this is Pacha's team, baby. This is Pochettino's team. Espanyol legend. I know he's not there no more, but he's the coach. He's, only great things come from Espanyol.
Dude, you said that like 18 times this Saturday at the game. Hey, that's Pochettino's team. The only good thing Spurs did was produce Harry Kane that actually saved England.
Anyway,
you're so mean.
We move on.
I'm actually excited for this team, even though Valencia was honestly looking back was a great opponent. I couldn't be there, unfortunately, because due to the birth of my second child that day or right around there. But I think this will be pretty exciting. It's another good club. I think with the fact that all the really, really big teams are going to be bringing their second squads to the ICC, the International Champions Cup or whatever, World Cup year, I think there's a lot of factors that was going against us getting a good opponent. And I think this will be pretty exciting for FC Cincinnati. Yeah, will we expect 35,000 fans? I don't think so. I think we're kind of transitioning to a normal MLS market, 15, 20,000 fans for these friendlies. And that's pretty darn good. But yeah, good job, FC Cincinnati, and getting another La Liga. I mean, it's better than getting a Costa Rican team.
I made a joke. I was on Lance McAllister's show on Friday that didn't really land. I was like, yeah, awesome. FC Cincinnati's going to play a team from Barcelona. Oh, not that team. They're playing Espanyol. But no, yeah, it didn't land. That's okay.
Didn't land here either.
I can't be as funny as Brad Weigel. What can I say? Brad, are you excited about the friendly?
Not anymore. Angry Brian returned. I'm just glad I wasn't called despicable.
Oh,
Hey-o.
so, if in case you were wondering, La Liga last year, Espanyol finished 11th. Again, it's going to be on a bye weekend, and it's on a Saturday, so that's much better than the situation last year where they kind of squeezed in the international friendly with all the fixture congestion they had a year ago. So it's a chance to engage the Hispanic community as well. So,
well, I mean, this is a team that's known for developing players. So I know Jeff Burning said it in his press conference. This is a chance to get in front of another club, big international club, develop relationships. Don't overestimate that. Developing relationships, inroads into the Spanish community to maybe get some of those young players over here when we're in MLS to help develop us, get those next stars of the league.
Sure.
Hopefully at an affordable price. So, this is all done with a plan. I know a lot of us, we want big names, we want big EPL teams, but English teams don't sell players on the cheap. They're sold at multiples 2, 3, 4 times what really the standard player should be. So don't underestimate, the value of developing these relationships, being able to get inroads in that Spanish community, seeing their developmental programs, maybe being able to get a couple players over here, train with us. Maybe we sign a couple, and that becomes the basis of our MLS club. So I'm excited for it. As long as we can continue to attract big clubs like that only helps enlarge our brand, opens us up to more culture, more opportunity.
Yeah, I think, look, it's another international date for FC Cincinnati to be on a global stage. So I'm excited for that. So, again, tickets go on sale next week, June 25th. Matches on July 28th. So go check out Espanyol versus FC Cincinnati there at Nippert Stadium. Some other news and notes regarding the team. Let's give it up. Round of applause, a big clap. How about Tyler Gibson coming back? He's been cleared. He's 100% back now after fracturing his leg down in Florida at IMG. That is a welcome sign for the FC Cincinnati midfielder. I know he's been itching to get back out there, so that's a big bolster. That's almost like, a signing in the middle of the season, Brian.
Yeah.
Where's he going to play?
Yeah, I think it. Yeah, exactly, Brad. Where's he going to play? Is it going to be Will Seymour's spot? Is it going to be Kenny Walker's spot? Corbin's spot? I mean, it's so hard to tell. I mean, he's still going to have another month and a half, I think, to really get fitness in. So if we, do we want to put him in that stretch run? So I'm not expecting a ton out of it. I really want to cheer for the guy because he seems like an awesome dude, but I got kind of set the bar low on this.
Yeah, no. Okay, so he was wonderful last year in the run for San Francisco to win the NASL title. He was the MVP of the team, so he has that quality there. And I'm just really kind of, where's he going to play? He's not going to take over Richie Ryan. He's probably not going to take over Lahoud. He's not going to take over Nas. I'm just really interested to see how he's going to plug in. So I'm glad I'm not Alan Koch on this one because he's got even more talent, less games to get all those players minutes. Mm-hmm. That's going to be the biggest challenge here. We've got 15 games played. Most everybody else is 13 games in a 34-game season. I mean, we're almost halfway done. Good for him. I'm excited to have him back. I was really excited about his signing in the offseason, but
well, look,
I don't know.
Look, Richie Ryan can't play every game at defensive midfield. We've seen it the last few weeks. Kenny Walker struggling a little bit. Maybe there's a role for him. He might not be the guy that you see on the starting lineup, but to keep Richie Ryan's legs fresher down the stretch? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Bri, isn't he a defensive midfielder by nature?
I'm sorry, if you're talking to me, I lost you there,
Wow.
bud.
No, I mean, no. It's he asked if he's a central defensive midfielder. I think he's more of like the box to box role.
So he's the
You know,
8.
Yeah, I would say he's more of an 8.
Okay.
But I mean, Lahoud, that guy's got MLS pedigree.
Sure.
He's wonderful. We've seen the impact he's done so far this year. So it's a big question mark, But I think if you would ask right now, of all the teams in USL, would you take Tyler Gibson as the first player off your bench? I think people would take that in a heartbeat.
If you're going to lock down a game and you want to hold
Mhm.
possession and kill off a game,
Mm-hmm.
that's very important to have.
So, regardless, it's been a long road back for him. We're excited for him, and I know he's been dreaming of that chance to play there in front of a packed house at Nippert Stadium. So, Tyler, kudos on getting back to being 100% fit and cleared. Now you got to get your match fitness up, and maybe we'll have a chance to see you down at Nippert very, very soon. We've got a couple of questions here this week. This one from Twitter at Dr. Hobenbaugh. Hope I said that right. He says, now that we are a third of the way through the season, who is the most improved? Who is the biggest surprised? And to make this difficult, we cannot pick Manu Ledesma. So I'm going to throw it to you, Brad. Who's the most improved and who's been the biggest surprise?
I think, and I might have most improved. It's hard to say this, but like Koenig has showed me.
Damn it!
Yeah, sorry, Brad guy. That to intuition. He showed me more than anybody. I think we brought in Welshman, we brought in Heineman coming into this year, and I think we kind of thought, where's Koenig going to fit in? And I think to me right now, outside of Ledesma, he's probably one of the most irreplaceable players on the pitch. So that's really tough for me. Biggest surprise. I said this in my our preseason show, and it's maybe not that big of a surprise, but like Corbin Bone is never going to. He just won't be replaced. He will literally not let anybody beat him out. He will work harder. He'll do the things that don't show up on the stat sheet. And so, am I surprised? Yes, because people. We've tried to bring in people to replace him every year since the start of this club, but the guy just keeps on coming.
We've been getting a lot of comments on Facebook, Bri, as far as the most improved. Corbin getting a lot of votes. Blake Smith getting a lot of votes. Sem DeVitt getting some votes as well.
I guess those are all good picks. It's tough to. I kind of agreed with Brad. My first thought was, is it improved or are we getting the most out of him with the relationships of the personnel on the field? Corbin's a good pick. Evan Newton has been pretty decent as well. I don't know if that's improved or surprise. One player who I've been surprised with more recently is Patty Barrett. That I think he's an exceptional passer, and I feel very confident when he's on the ball in the back. And that's something that cannot be understated. When you have different matchups for each team, we can throw in Deckel, a Lasso, or a Patty, and that's huge. We can play matchups now. I think that's a big thing, a little bit of surprise because they've all three just kind of been naturally fitting together when they've been called upon. So I think that's probably my biggest surprise. I'm trying to avoid this improved pick. If I possibly
can I say an underrated player real quick? I think one of our most underrated players on this team is Justin Hoyt.
Oh,
the guy just busts it. What?
He busts it?
I think he does a great job, but his passing, I think he does a great job passing. I think he's done wonderful this year.
Okay, he's done wonderful passing, but he's gotten. Okay, I love Justin.
I think so.
Look at the North Carolina tape, buddy. And don't tell me. There's a couple runs versus Richmond recently. I think he's a great player, and I see why he's there. USL players have a positive and they have a negative. I think his positive is his passing and his vision is exceptional. His crossing's very good. He combines extremely well in the offensive third. His negatives are same with Blake Smith. When his when he's moving backwards, he can get beat. He sometimes switches off a little bit. I think it's tough to replace him. It's tough to replace him because he's so good as that extra attacker when we push him up the field. But
he's just so good going forward. And it's hard. It's hard for me to say this about a former Arsenal player. They're all garbage. But,
So are you guys going to let me talk?
No,
not
this is what we do during the day, Nick. Right here, that you're seeing the
this
normal.
is what Brian does. I work.
False.
So anyway, my most improved for this year. I just quickly glossed over that argument there. My most improved for this year, I'm going to go with Patty Barrett, and I say that because I watched him in that first match down at Florida in the against the Revs. And thought to myself, I don't see this guy playing a whole lot. Boy, was I wrong. He has been, I'd say, really, really good for FC Cincinnati there at center back. So,
also one of the best social media accounts on the team.
Sure,
especially his likes.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm going to judge it based on that, I mean, he's number one, right?
Peru.
Especially after this week.
Peru.
My biggest surprise. I'm also going to go with Danny Koenig. I go back to that. You remember that match I guess it was actually, now if you think about it, a couple months ago there in Ottawa, all the sitters he missed and all those opportunities he missed, he could have easily gone the other way. But instead, he's caught fire, been in the right spots. Him and Manu have really formed a great partnership. And so for me, that's probably the biggest surprise is Danny Koenig and the amount of goals he's been able to score here of late. So,
can I say something though with him? I think Brad said he's irreplaceable. I think he's exceptional. He's been very good, but I think we've been hearing a lot of rumors. We've been trying to run down this one rumor we've been hearing out of FC Cincinnati's camp is that there could be more attacking players coming in. I think if we can get a guy who can play on the ball, can take headers home, I still think there's a chance that he still might be relegated to a 30-minute role in games.
I still don't see why we signed Tomi Abiyobi. I don't see it.
Well, we won't make this personal, but I'm saying we can still get better, I think, across the board in some areas. But
yeah,
different topic, different day.
Let's look around. I want to go around the league real quick before we begin to wrap up. And I don't typically care for that team down south. But let's talk about
one. There's two that are annoying.
The one closer. They were up 3-1 over the weekend at Penn FC. Now, if you have a chance, if you're an ESPN Plus subscriber, go watch the match. Louisville has the kickoff. Right? And still managed to get the opening kickoff and still managed to give up a goal 17 seconds into the game. One thing that really stood out to me, you guys, is how quick and athletic Penn FC was. And, you look where they're at in the table and the standings, like you just fully expected them to go into Louisville and kind of lay down. But no, down 3-1, they battle back, get it to 3-3. Is this a sign of maybe Louisville and their lack of depth coming back to bite them with all their fixture congestion that they're going to have this year?
Well, I think outside of Richmond and Toronto, maybe, I think anybody could probably give a challenge on any given day. And we talked about it earlier in the season about Penn FC. I mean, there's some really good players on that team. You got Dan Metzger, who won a championship with Red Bulls, Lucky Maksana, you got Heinemann, you got Fabio. I mean, there's some good players on that team. So they shouldn't surprise us. I kind of get nervous going to play there. I guess when you both play on baseball fields, there's not much of a advantage. But yeah, I just think on any given day, I mean, we saw it with Bethlehem. If a couple guys on the opponent are playing at a high enough quality, anybody can give you a run on any given day besides Toronto. So I do agree with you. I kind of made a joke about it when I was talking about Bill Grandesto. Louisville, okay, they have their congestion this week with playing Nashville, but they're just hurt. They've got a lot of injuries. I think they only have one healthy forward, so that's going to take a toll. Where last year they got through the whole season pretty much without any major injuries. So yeah, that'll definitely play a factor. I just kind of wish we would have played Louisville now versus the first 8 weeks of the year.
Right.
They might even be losing their coach.
No, that's funny. But
Extra
yes.
Time Radio said he was one of them.
Well, there's a report that came out that said they're looking at one of the former
The big one.
So wait, what job are you talking about, Brad? Are you talking about NYCFC? Orlando. Which correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure Orlando and Louisville were affiliates at some point.
Yeah.
So you got that connection as well. So maybe, hey, you never know. That'd be great.
Get him out of the league.
Well, not that it matters much for us going forward, but
We'd have to face him.
Yeah,
next
we'd have
year.
to face him again. How awesome would that be in MLS if Koch and JFC would have to see each other a couple times again a year? Oh, it'd be amazing.
That'd be a fun office meeting with Daddy Garber.
Yep. And last but not least, Landon Donovan is an idiot. Did you see this? He went on Twitter in a Mexican. I don't think he was in a Mexican kit, but he was in a Mexico shirt in a paid sponsored ad by Wells Fargo to tell folks in North America and in the United States to root for Mexico. Kyle Martino took exception. Hercules Gomez, former U.S. men's national teamer, took exception. Taylor Twellman took exception. And then to see his response to that, defending his decision to root for Mexico. I mean, what the heck was he thinking?
Brad and I disagree.
So we went to Columbus this past cycle. The Mexican fans are awesome, but I'm not rooting for Michigan. I don't give a damn how cool those people are. You know, it's stupid.
Mexico or Michigan?
Same thing.
Both of them. That's the same thing. That's what I'm equating to it. You know, I'm an Ohio State fan. I won't root for Michigan. I'm not rooting for Mexico. I don't care if they're our neighbor to the south, whatever. It's just not happening. You know, I still remember the 2002 World Cup. That was crazy. I just don't understand how people or I don't fault you for getting behind him. I just don't. I'm not rooting for him. I'm not going to do it. They're our main competition. I've seen way too many Gold Cups where we've gotten beat off the pitch. I can't root for him. And I don't know why Captain America, you know, one of the best players all time, would go out there and say that unless, you know.
They're my other team. That's what he said.
Crap. Isn't this stupid?
Lexi Lawless did the same thing.
No, he didn't. He said they needed American grit.
Whatever.
They needed the American grit.
False.
That's it. Yeah.
Well, I think the difference, Brian, between Alexi Lawless and Landon Donovan is that Lexi's not, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I missed it. Maybe Wells Fargo isn't paying Alexi Lawless to say that.
So, this guy is an American legend. He's done everything in this shirt. This guy has the reach. You know, all those people you're saying are like, oh, whatever. This guy's got the reach times 10 of all those guys combined. I mean, this guy is my childhood hero. I know he bleeds red, white, and blue. I know he's going to go spike Rafa Marquez if they go play each other in a friendly game. We know he's not bleeding green, white, and red. Okay? We know that. But he says, let's support our neighbors. If you want to have a dog in a fight, might as well support our neighbors. Whatever you want to do. As long as they perform on DraftKings, I'm cool with it. That's all I care about. Okay?
No way, dude.
Secondly,
it's dumb.
Shut up. Secondly, Landon Donovan is now a free agent. Let's go, FC Cincinnati.
No way. No, I'm hard passing.
Go. You're ridiculous.
Brian, you don't see Brazil people wearing Argentina jerseys. You don't see Tottenham fans wearing Arsenal jerseys. It does not happen.
Do you see him going down the freaking street? He just tried to put a nice message out there. He put some cash in his wallet. He put some cash in his wallet. Respect that, whatever. Who cares, guys? He's Captain freaking America. He's
not
got
anymore.
Some street cred. Yeah, sure.
Not
if
anymore.
you see him on the street, you will melt like a 5-year-old or 10-year-old schoolgirl. Come on now. You're ridiculous. You're ridiculous. Jeff Birding, call his agent.
Nope.
sign his butt up
Nope.
for FC Cincinnati to finish the year. We need more attacking help. He can get into the final third still. He's practiced against La Liga competition. He didn't play 98 minutes. Who
La
cares?
Liga?
Or whatever. Liga MX.
MX?
Just shut up.
No, dude,
Jeff
Ledesma.
Burton,
No.
Luke
At this point in
Cicerone,
time,
call in on it. It's not a stunt. This guy can help us win, and that's all that freaking matters.
no, Gary Randolph. Yes. I'm the one drinking Tecate, not Brian throwing that stuff out there. Second of all,
Donovan,
at this point in time, Emmanuel Ledesma is 10 times more effective than Landon Donovan at this point in his career. Landon Donovan couldn't even go 15 minutes.
why can't we have both?
You're ridiculous.
It's getting
Your
awkward in
credibility
here.
Gone.
Quality.
A little awkward in here.
Landon freaking Donovan, FC Cincinnati. Let's do it.
All right. Well,
That'd be something I'd expect Nashville to do. His little sideshow clown.
Oh, we don't know.
Action.
He'd win. We'd win, man.
I don't see it happening, but okay. All right. We got derailed pretty quickly there.
It's all about thought-provoking content here at Cincinnati Soccer Talk.
But
thought-provoking and dumb are different.
Yeah, well, look. I'll just leave it here. You ready? When FC Cincinnati next year are in Major League Soccer, and Louisville is playing in the USL Cup, I'm rooting for every team that they play against. Just saying.
Exactly.
I would never, ever. I'm not even rooting for them in the. Well, maybe I am rooting for them in the Open Cup because I want them to keep playing it. But yeah, nope, not gonna happen. So.
We're not asking you to marry the darn team, but paying attention to them, and I'd rather them be better than crappy.
No,
I don't want them to go and lose 4-0 to Germany.
I guess we should give props where it is due. They went and beat Germany 1-0. So
hey man, their head coach is our future head coach anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on as we begin to wrap things up here on CST. We've got the foot golf event coming up August 25th. Brad, fill us in.
Nope. Yeah, a couple more teams signed up this week, so it's starting to fill fast. August 25th, 3 p.m. Woodland Golf Course. We're going to play some foot golf, 4-person, 18-hole scramble. $180 gets you the entry fee for 4 people, 2 drinks to the course per person, dinner banquet at Westside Brewing. We've done gifts the last couple of years. We're going to do that again, backpacks, coolers, etc. And then we'll have whole prizes. And not to mention, we're going to donate Sports Games for Kids, which had one of their big events this week at the game. So make sure you sign up. It should be a fun day. It's going to be an away match, so we're going to be at Tampa Bay that evening. So we're going to have a big viewing party. And we hope to see you there, so it should be a good time.
CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/footgolf is where you can get signed up. So make sure you go do that. It's for a good cause. Also, Nashville away trip coming up. This is being put on by the Pride, if I'm not mistaken, right, guys?
Ask the Pride member.
I don't know. I'm
reading the notes that were provided to me.
I didn't put those in there.
Okay. Anyway.
We'll have more details later. Just pay attention to CST.
Yes.
I think you're right, though. I think they were trying to do a bus trip or maybe even a discounted hotel room pack. I think that was Bill was talking about that.
The PrideCincy.com I'm sorry, and then click store, I believe, is where you can do that at. So, and I'm sure the Pride guys will correct us if we are wrong.
I bet.
I think I got a hotel room. Boston's got a hotel room. So CST is going to be representing in Nashville on July 7th. So it should be a good time. There are tickets on Ticketmaster, and I think you can also get some more information on DI and Pride Slack. I know they were working out because Nashville's deciding to screw everybody with way too much in ticket fees. So I think they're trying to knock those down and combat that a little bit.
We're getting some mixed notes here in the chat here about no bus to Nashville.
Wasn't my notes.
Stay tuned.
Yep.
Stay tuned to Cincinnati Soccer Talk. We'll have more updates on that as we get closer to that date, which, by the way, not too far away. All right. Let's say goodnight to Bill Wolf. Oh, wait, he's been gone for a while. Bill had some technical difficulties tonight. Kindly backed out of the show. Bill, we appreciate you being with us for the brief moment that you were. So with that said, we go to the final thoughts of these two guys who had nothing but good things to say tonight. I'll start first with Brian Weigel. Brian, your final thoughts as we get out of here?
Yeah, I guess just stay tuned. We're trying to plan a lot of things ahead for Cincinnati Soccer Talk. People have asked us about SB Nation, a couple other things, and we want to be a supporter-driven, fan-driven show website. So don't know if we have any big plans there yet or not, but yeah, guys, just keep doing what you're doing. Please keep reading our stuff, interact with us on social media. We appreciate every single thing we do. We're here for you guys, and just a big thank you. It's been an awesome ride, and we got a lot of big things ahead for us as we go to Major League Soccer.
Absolutely. Good stuff, Bri, as always. Appreciate you being with us.
Sorry if our listeners didn't like twin fighting.
I loved it. I sat here and just watched. It was like ping pong. It was like watching tennis. Back and forth, back and forth.
I don't know how our sister works with us.
She's a saint.
Oh. Yeah. All right, Brad, your final thoughts as we get out of here?
No, I just appreciate everybody watching the show. Matt Rock, episode captain. Dude's a gentleman and a scholar. And also shout out to my cousin Andrew Weigel. He's watching. He's a Marine in San Diego, out there killing it. So just good to see you watching the show, buddy. And we just appreciate all the supporters out there. Big summer ahead for FC Cincinnati. There's going to be a lot of news coming down the pipe. MLS, playoffs. We're going to have a great next couple months here in Cincinnati. Good
stuff, Brad, as always. Appreciate you being here. My final thoughts as we get out of here. Again, as Brad said, this is a listener-supported show. If you could help us out in any way possible, we really would appreciate it. A little bit does go a long way. You don't just have to contribute $5 or $10 every month. You could do as little as $1. You can do a one-time contribution over at our website, cincinnati-soccertalk.com/support. As we mentioned a little bit earlier, I will be going on vacation. Yes, my family and I, we are actually taking a family vacation for the first time, believe it or not, in 8 years. We are heading down to Florida, so we will be down there next week. So we will not be having our live show next Monday night, large part because there's no match this week. So give everybody a chance to have some time off. So we will not be doing the show live next week. We will not have a show next week. But in case there is any kind of breaking news, of course, we will be with you on the podcast. So make sure you get subscribed. CincinnatiSoccerTalk.com/iTunes is where you can do that, /Google Play, /TuneIn, /Spotify. Anywhere you can find a podcast, go do that. Go get subscribed so you don't miss an episode of CST. Our thanks to Russell Cicerone, FC Cincinnati forward, for joining us this week. Of course, my thanks to Bill Wolf, Brad Weigel, and Brian Weigel. I'm Subes, reminding you to watch your tackles, and we will see you all next week.